The hallway was buzzing with chatter and laughter, the kind of noise that made new students feel even more out of place. Emma walked through the crowd with her head down, clutching her books tightly against her chest. She had just transferred to this school, hoping for a fresh start. But being the quiet new girl was never easy. She dressed simply, kept her hair in a neat braid, and spoke softly whenever anyone addressed her. To most people she was invisible. But to one boy she was the perfect target. That boy was Jason. Everyone at school knew him as the loud, confident one. The kind who walked around like he owned the place. He was popular, feared, and always surrounded by people who laughed at his cruel jokes. Jason thrived on making others feel small because it made him feel powerful. And when his eyes landed on Emma, the shy girl walking quietly with her books, he saw an opportunity. "Hey, look at her." Jason's voice rang out in the crowded hall. "Did you forget how to smile? Or are you just allergic to people?" His friends burst out laughing. Emma froze, her cheeks burning red. She wanted to disappear, to melt into the floor. Jason wasn't done. He walked up closer, towering over her. "What's in the books, huh? Secret spells? Or are you just pretending to be smart so teachers like you?" He yanked the book out of her hands and flipped it open. "Wow, she's actually reading poetry. No wonder you don't have friends." The laughter grew louder, echoing through the hallway. Students stopped to watch, some whispering, some recording the scene with their phones. Emma's throat tightened. She wanted to scream, but her voice refused to come out. For a moment, it felt like the whole school was against her. But then something inside her shifted. She took a slow breath, squared her shoulders, and looked Jason directly in the eyes. Her voice was calm, but there was strength in it. "You think hurting me makes you strong. But do you ever wonder why you need an audience to feel powerful?" The hallway fell silent. No one expected Emma to speak back, especially not like that. Jason blinked, caught off guard. His smirk faltered, but he quickly covered it up with another laugh. "Oh, so the quiet girl talks. Cute. But no one cares what you say." Emma gently reached for her book. Jason held on to it stubbornly, but she didn't tug or fight. Instead, she said, "You can keep mocking me if you want. But someday, you'll learn the hard way that kindness will take you further than cruelty ever could." The words hung heavy in the air. They weren't shouted, they weren't angry, but they cut deeper than any insult. Jason dropped the book into her hands, almost without realizing it. For the first time, the laughter around him died down, not because Emma was weak, but because she had shown strength in a way no one expected. Jason's friends shifted uncomfortably. Some even looked away. The moment wasn't funny anymore. Emma didn't stick around to see his reaction. She simply walked away, her head held a little higher than before. For the rest of the day, Jason couldn't shake her words. He replayed them over and over. Why do you need an audience to feel powerful? At lunch, his friends still tried to make jokes at Emma's expense, but the laughter was hollow. Something about what she said had cracked through his tough exterior. Later that week, Jason's teacher assigned a group project. To his frustration, and maybe fate, he was paired with Emma. He expected her to be bitter, to ignore him, but she wasn't. She greeted him politely, focused on the project, and didn't bring up what happened in the hallway. At first, Jason was defensive, cracking little jokes to cover his awkwardness. But Emma didn't react. Instead, she worked quietly, showing patience and determination. Slowly, Jason began to notice things he hadn't before. She was smart, thoughtful, and creative. When she explained her ideas, they weren't just good, they were inspiring. One afternoon, as they worked in the library, Jason finally broke the silence. "Look, about the other day. I shouldn't have done that. He trailed off, unable to find the right words. Emma looked at him calmly. People who hurt others are usually hurting themselves. I don't know what you're going through, but mocking me won't fix it. Jason swallowed hard. No one had ever spoken to him like that, not with anger, but with understanding. For the first time, he realized how empty his power really was. The laughs he got from others didn't mean respect. They meant fear, and fear never lasted. Over time, Jason's behavior started to change. He stopped targeting Emma, and slowly, he stopped targeting others too. It wasn't easy. His friends mocked him for going soft, but he didn't care anymore. He remembered how Emma had stood tall in front of him, quiet but unshaken, and he wanted to find that same kind of strength. Months later, during another hallway incident, Jason saw a younger boy being teased by some kids. Normally, he would have joined in or at least laughed from the sidelines. But this time, he stepped in. "Hey, leave him alone. That's not funny." The kids looked surprised, but they backed off. The boy looked up at Jason with gratitude, and in that moment, Jason realized what real respect felt like. Emma watched from a distance, a small smile tugging at her lips. She hadn't set out to change him. She had only stood up for herself. But sometimes, a single moment of courage could plant a seed of change in someone else's life. The shocking lesson wasn't just for Jason. It was for everyone who had watched that day in the hallway. They learned that true strength doesn't come from mocking the weak. It comes from standing tall, even when your voice shakes, and reminding the world that kindness is far more powerful than cruelty.